The American Rescue Plan Act funding is back in the headlines tonight. Buncombe County leaders are deciding which projects should receive federal COVID recovery funding.
And this time, a proposal from Asheville has some on the fence. News 13's Hannah McKenzie explains.
This Ramada Inn serving both as a hotel and a shelter. The city has plans to take over the building and turn the whole thing into a low-barrier homeless shelter. But the county isn't yet on board with the plan. More than $22 million of the county's total $50 million in American Rescue Plan Act funding has already been allocated, according to Buncombe County. The money funding 26 projects so far. The Ramada Inn Low Barrier Shelter isn't one of them. The shelter, which would provide temporary housing without restrictive requirements, is an effort from the city to house some of its homeless population.
And we are still kind of evaluating that proposal.
Chairman Brownie Newman telling us county commissioners are still evaluating the concept, the short and long-term costs for the procurement, renovations, and running of the shelter.
It's one of the larger requests that have come in.
$3.6 million to be exact, he says.
And we're also doing our due diligence on whether the proposed location is the best location for such a facility if we do support it.
If this project is funded and comes to fruition, what would this mean for our area and the homeless population we have?
Well, it's a huge impact. So all the years that I've been working with people on the street, we don't have enough shelter beds for all the people who are homeless in our community.
Amy Cantrell, co-director of Beloved Asheville, a nonprofit that advocates for the homeless, says this project could provide 200 shelter beds.
There is no reason that it has to be us or them, or it has to be a win-lose. This could be a win-win for everybody in the neighborhood if it's done well and right.
If the county doesn't support the shelter, it doesn't mean it won't happen. The city of Asheville received $26.2 million of their own federal COVID recovery funds. Some of that money, we're told, will be allocated to the low-barrier shelter. How much will be determined at the city council meeting on January 11th. Right now, the city is under contract to purchase the Ramada Inn. City manager Deborah Campbell saying, though, they are disappointed the county did not choose to fund this project this round of allocations.
Asheville police are warning the public about a dangerous batch of narcotics.
They believe it was caused 4 overdoses in the city within 1 hour time span on Thursday. News 13's Kristen Aguirre looks at how APD is fighting the opioid epidemic.
Overdoses happening behind me at Pritchard Park in the heart of Asheville. APD telling us they're doing everything they can to combat the growing epidemic here in the mountains. To date, Asheville has received 392 reports of an overdose.
Asheville has definitely encountered its challenges related to the opioid epidemic.
APD Captain Joe Silberman saying the department is doing what it can to fight the crisis here, locally.
A lot of our officers are issued Narcan.
These officers also receiving training on what to recognize in an overdose, when to use Narcan, and how to use it.
Every officer that carries it has to be CPR trained and within that certification period.
North Carolina's Health and Human Services says from 1999 to 2016, more than 12,000 North Carolinians died from opioid-related overdoses. A more recent report from the CDC shows a 28% increase in overdose deaths nationwide.
Yesterday, in a 1 hour period, we had 4 overdose calls.
2 here at Pritchard Park, then in nearby locations at 33 Cox Avenue near the post office, and the 4th blocks away at 19 North Ann Street. All victims taken to Mission Hospital.
That's a lot for a day.
Silberman saying officers also receive additional training to recognize the signs of an opioid overdose. APD's Narcan donated by Via Health.
You don't know the potency of what you're getting.
Silberman also saying there's another layer of danger with this batch of narcotics.
Based on my training and experience, it would be some kind of synthetic opioid that is unusually pure.
Health and Human Services says our state saw a total combined cost of $2.4 billion because of unintentional opioid-involved overdose deaths in 2019 alone. But there's hope.
It's a deadly disease that, a lot of people have moved past it, and moving past it is difficult, but help is out there.
For opioid addiction help, visit our website at WLOS.com.
North Carolina politics is once again getting national attention, most recently because of the new district maps that were approved by the Republican-run legislature.
News 13's Ty Russell joins us from the live desk. And Ty, you spoke with ABC News political director Rick Klein today. What's his take on what's happening here in North Carolina?
Well, Rick Klein says the maps that were drawn appear to not reflect what's going on in North Carolina when it comes to beliefs and race. There is definitely a growing diversity, especially since if you look at the recent presidential election, voters are quite down the middle. And today we wanted to know some insight into possible infighting among Republicans in the state after the new maps came out. When it comes to Congressman Madison Cawthorn, he decided to jump districts and run in a different district in this upcoming congressional election. What does that say about the Republicans in the state? Because there were rumors the House Speaker in the state was going to run in the district that Congressman Cawthorn says he's going to run in. So is there infighting in North Carolina?
Snapshot. What a fascinating snapshot of that infighting. The fact that you'd have a very Trump-friendly freshman congressman, one of the youngest members in the history of the House, brand new to Washington, only been here less than a year, who is considered such a juggernaut that he can move across to a different part of the state and edge out one of the most powerful Republicans in state politics. I think there's more to the story that'll ultimately come out about is someone opening up another spot for someone in Cawthorn's district. Keep in mind that was Mark Meadows' district, the former White House chief of staff. There's going to be a lot of buzz about potential candidates around it, but to me, it's a real statement of force around Trump loyalists. That Congressman Cawthorn was able to.
Now, I also asked about the maps and if the feds can do anything about them. Biden's Department of Justice can take states to court over them. However, it's unclear if that will happen here. But he does expect the final word will come from judges since other lawsuits have already been filed.